for my independent project. And, well, I'm just going to be talking about what I did, which is put a sculpture of these 3 Egyptian gods. One of them is Sobek, and who is the crocodile and the crocodile and river god. And the reason I picked them is because I really liked reptiles. This guy's the god of crocodiles, so. And well, I was planning to make a clay sculpture because Sobek is basically a body of a human and then a crocodile head on top. And well, that's how the hieroglyphics show it. And the thing I used to make it was this clay. First I made a human body, which was kind of fat, and then I made a crocodile's head with a crown on top. And it was going good so far. I used Legos to build this staff thing and put it in his hand. Except then, one of the hard problems is when we were letting the stuff dry, because I had recently made a bunch of other stuff. When we were letting it dry, the man who was filming this, which is my dad, accidentally knocked it over and fell on the floor, and it was destroyed, and there was nothing I could do about it. So I decided, hey, well, he has a crocodile form. I'll just make a giant crocodile with a crown on. And then I did that, and I got really frustrated when I took it to school, and Gina, the art teacher, said that I needed to hollow it out with the tool that you use to scrape it. I got kind of frustrated, except I learned that it was really, really easy. All you do is just like scrape his belly. And then I had to paint it with these tempera paint things. And, well, I painted it, and now it's sitting at my house and drying, waiting until Friday. And the project starts. Hooray! What I learned from this project is, that Sobek wasn't only the god of crocodiles, which I thought he was, he's the god of rivers and fishing. Because he invented a fishing net to grab someone's hands out of a river. I also learned that Sobek was often mistaken for Set, the god of evil, because Set has a crocodile form and a like mammoth form or something like that. And so I also learned how to have some patience, and this is in the whole entire project, because all I wanted to do was get it done with. And so yeah. Alright, we're back, and we're next to a fountain. And, this time we're going to be talking about Apophis, who I don't really think was a god, except he was a pretty bad guy. Basically, giant snake, cobra, fan thing. And, he was the arch rival of Ra, the sun god, and rapidly attacked him on his way through the underworld. And in the underworld, Apophis was defeated each time by being viciously slaughtered and then being reborn. Alright, so the way I built this thing was the same with all my other guys. So back in Keypry, I use clay, and I based it off a picture, which is a very hard picture to use. It's like a giant snake coiling around a mountain with like basically a cobra, except it basically has 3 necks that attach to one head, 6 eyes, a bunch of like spines on his head. It was very hard. And one of the problems I ran into is the teeth. The teeth would rapidly fall off until one was left and he looked like he was a beaver. And as we all know, snakes are not beavers. And well, I learned that things that are giant are very hard to do. And also I learned that if you paint something that has a bunch of spines on it, there's a good chance that if it has teeth, it'll end up looking like a beaver. And what was I going to say? Now this is making me think of motorboats. What was I going to say? Alright, so, well, the things that I learned was that Apophis is not a god. He could take the form of a crocodile or a mammoth, like said. His only goal in his life was to swallow the sun. And what else do I learn? Oh yes, Apophis is one bad dude. This time we're gonna be learning about Keypry, and he was one of Ra's aspects, and there's 3 forms of Ra. There is Keypry, which is in the morning. He's Ra at midday, and some cow person at evening. And so he usually, well, he didn't usually anything. He was a part of the most popular god in all of ancient Egypt. And he was actually called also the god of creation, which is pretty cool. And his name means one who came into being by himself. And so, yeah. And the way I built this was clay. And it's as Keypry usually looks, which is a man with the head of a beetle, the full body of a beetle, which is kind of weird because you're always looking up. And he's sitting on a throne with a ankh, which is basically just it's kind of like that Jesus cross or something like that, except the top is a loop, and it means life. So he's holding that and a staff, and all that other stuff. And so I built that, and he's kind of bulky, kind of big. And the chair, I had to attach him to the chair. And then he had to do this like little kilt thing. And all that other stuff. And make the scarab. And all that stuff. One of the things that I had a hard time doing was making the scarab. Because its little legs are so tiny and it's so hard to make. I also had trouble with painting it because you had to get like inside the chair, and every single like little crack and stuff had to be painted. And it was very hard, very hard. I'm not as hard as the Apocalypse, except, well, I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh yes, I put I bored a little hole in his hand. Well, my dad did anyways, because I didn't know how to do it. Screwdriver. Then we took an incense and put it in his hand. And it's supposed to be a staff, except in the future I might even just use it for an incense holder. And, I actually, well...
What did you learn? What did you learn?
I learned that, basically I learned everything about Kipra, because I had no idea that this god existed. One of those things was that he is the scarab god. Which is kind of obvious because his head is a scarab.
No, the car.
And I also learned that, well, I actually learned a bit about Ra when I was doing this topic, because he's literally like cut into thirds, which is kind of odd because he is a god, and I would not like to be cut into 3 personalities. And so I actually made another little thing for Kipri. It's a TV, and I might be playing this video on a TV and a computer. I have no idea which. So that's really all I learned about Kipri. So what I thought of this project is that it is very hard. That is probably the main thing. I got so frustrated with this project. And I understand that it's the biggest project of the year, except it's very frustrating and very hard. If anyone else wants to do a project on this topic, you should do something differently besides clay, and also choose some different gods, because the ones that I did, and if you're gonna do clay for them, the ones that I did are ginormous. Do someone like Bess, he's the god of dwarves. And so I learned a great deal of knowledge in this, and the part that was probably the most hard, or the hardest, however you pronounce it, was actually planning it. Because first I was going to do a clay sculpture, then I was going to do a Lego sculpture, then I was going to make a giant Egyptian sword, and it was so confusing. So then the second hardest thing was building it, and that was very hard, and I got very frustrated. And the 5-paragraph essay that we had to type, which we did at school, was actually not really that hard at all. The positive thing about this project is that I got to use clay, and in a very advanced way. Hey, that rhymes. And I got to learn a bunch of stuff about ancient, well, not really ancient Egypt, Egyptian gods, these 3 in particular. And I also got to learn that, what was I gonna say again? I also got to learn that patience can get you a long way, a very long way. And so, yeah, that's it. In conclusion, this project was very fun. I hope you liked it, and have fun at Project Fair Day thing of things. Bye.